Good evening, welcome to On the Level Racing channel, and once more Cheltenham has arrived. This year looks a really good 4-day event. Some good horses on the cards, some returning champions as well. So we're not going to really mess around here. We're going to go straight in to the 130, which is the Sky Bet Supreme Novice Hurdle. As you already know, I have put up my selections on the page. We're just going to go through the reason of my selections. So the first selection here is an each way play twice on two horses. One is Il Eton Tomps, um, Winnie Munnins' horse here. Probably looking the second string here for Winnie Munnins. Been a bit of money around for it. Was seen last time beating a horse called In the Pocket over at Leopardstown in the Tattersall's Island Novices Grade 1. And did it very impressive by 9.5 lengths. Faisal Vega was back in fifth that day, but however, if you take a look at the race again, Faisal Vega took a really strong pull in front. He literally went a million miles an hour in front with Paul Townsend. Um, and I just think there'll be different tactics on this horse this time around. Willie Mullins has obviously said in an interview on with at the races that they probably did get the tactics wrong. They tried to basically run from the front, didn't work. I would like to think this time probably they will hold him up, and I think they're just bring him into the race nice and gradually. If he's there on the bend, guys, he could be very tough to beat here. The form's already been franked already with Irish Point, who has come out quite recently and landed a good race at Nace, a grade 3, was the Princess King Furs Novice Hurdle. That was off of mark 142. So yeah, really the form line's there. Will he be able to hold Festival Vega this time around? I don't know. Um, I think I put the horse up a little bit bigger than the price is at the moment. So a bit of money has come for the horse. But however, I think Faisal Vega will enjoy the ground, and he will be ridden tactically different this time around. Another horse I put in this race is also, which I think is value. If we go through the form line of the Grade 1 at Leopardstown, is the In the Pocket, who finished 9.5 lengths behind Tomps. Um, that was with level weights. He's got a lot to find. He's probably got about £10 to find with Eotate Tomps, and probably quite a bit of find, probably about £10, £11 to find also with Faisal Vega. So it's going to be very tough for him to reverse that form. But I still think the horse, looking at this, is a good each way play. One I would have to mention, which because I did was quite sweet on it in the review, the Cheltenham preview we done, and that was a horse called Tumorous. Now this is Paul Nicholls' horse. Harry Cobden will take the ride. Done nothing wrong. Taken all three races quite nicely. Last seen at Sandown on soft ground and off a mark 134 when winning a novice to Tolworth, which is not a bad yardstick for this race. So I wouldn't be surprised that Tomerus is not thereabouts also, especially with the connections of Noel Feely Syndicate there. So yeah, um, I think he's no one have a cracking chance in this race. Um, but I mean, overall, I I do think if we look at the race realistically, I mean, I'm just playing ill with Tom Temps for a place really, and also in the pocket. Um, is also interesting for me. I think Faisal Vega is the horse to beat, especially with the soft ground really coming in now. Like I said, he's not going to get it wrong this time, Paul Town, and I think he hold the horse up and yeah, like I said, if he was there on the bend coming round from the second last, yeah, it could be very hard to peg back. The money horse, there was money around for this horse. It's not so much now; it's quite dried up in quite a few places now, and that's Marine Nationale. Now another horse has come into this race with very good scope, taking all three races in his stride. Um, Again, he's beaten Irish Point, but only just got up by a head when landing the Royal Bond Novices Hurdle Grade 1 event. Back and forth was a horse called Champ Keeley, which I do fancy on the card this week. And I think Astro Diamond has also franked that form, coming out and landing a grade 3 novices hurdle over at Fairyhouse, beating a horse called Jatara, which I do believe that one of the pundits on the at the races quite likely fancied for this week. A horse called Jatara. High definition, couldn't have the horse. Lost his way since his juvenile days when winning two good races, a juvenile on the flat, but hasn't really shown that on the flats going forward, and hasn't really shown that on his last two starts. For me, I mean, okay, fair enough. Yep. If you look at it, go back, he won. He beat Jatara on his debut by 4.5 lengths, which is far better, superior than obviously the other horse that was mentioned, which is Marine Nationale. Um, High definition, it's just one of those races that Joseph Ryan probably gets it right, but I'm not a great fan of Galileo horses winning the Supreme. For me, not that impressive. Um, Obviously, Faisal Vega is by Walk in the Park. As we know, it's got a good pedigree. It had a good pedigree. Won a bumper, champion bumper. So you need. I think you really need horses that have got a well flat bred here. I mean, obviously Galileo, yes, I agree, but I mean not to win a Supreme. Jukebox Jury, as we know, was a great horse on the flat. And Blue Brazil is another good sire. Um, so yeah, so straight off the bat, I think we're going for, as I said, Ilwerton, Thompson, and in the pocket each way. Hopefully the ground gets more boggier. If it does get more boggier, Faisal Vega, I think is a horse to beat in the race. It could have just the weather just could have been landed right here. On to the 210, and this is the Sporting Life Arkle Challenge Trophy Novices Hurdle. Again, Willie Mullins has got the favourite with a horse called El Fabiolo. Nicely bred, French bred here. Been a lot of money for this horse over the last few weeks. It's taken the chasing quite well, and definitely a good yardstick when beating Banbridge by 10 lengths. We appreciate it back in third. Um, I think Banbridge was a very good yardstick to beat, especially the way he's gone about his business and beaten the horse. It was quite impressive. Um, and again, I mean, I actually fancy the runner up there on this card this week. We look at the other games here. Dynamo again. We'll have a bit to find with El Fabio and Bam, due to the fact we're beaten by like 10.5 lengths, 12 lengths. That's a lot to find in this kind of grade to reverse around. So yeah, as we know, El Fabiolo has got me. It could give Mullins the first two races on the day, but I am actually going to go strongly against him, and this is going to be my nap of the first day, and that's Nicky Henderson's horse here in John Bond. Um, Again, 13-8, probably joint favourite. Again, unbeaten on all three chase starts. There was a bit of controversy over his last run when he landed the Kingmaker Novices Hurdle. Sorry, Novices Chase, sorry, apologise. When beating Calico by 5.5 lengths. And people turned around and said, like, how the hell can he win, an Arkle? Um, I just think, tactically, Harry Skelton on Calico stole a few 8 lengths, three out before the bend. And people started going, oh, well, gosh, he's caught flat footed here. Until John Bond came around the bend up upside him, and then it was all over. Um, John Bond, really good horse. I think in going forward, this horse could probably stay 2.5 mile. So I could see probably Henderson stepping his horse up in the future. But however, I think he's blown the cobwebs away there at his Warwick win. Um, yeah, and I just think he'd be very hard to beat um, on the second car on second race, the Arkle. He's a good price. I mean, I think they're coming at joint favourites, the two guys. So he's 30-8 second favourite. It's a two-horse race for me. El Fabiano versus John Bond. I like to think John Bond's got the staying power to outdo Fabiano this time. On to the 250, which is the old Tima handicap chase. Again, a lot of money round for Correct Rambler here. Um, I actually think, from my personal view, is not good enough to win this race. Um, okay, we obviously Cheltenham form is good for this rate. Good for this last year. Come out one last year. Won this last year. I can't see him doubling up. Um, um, that form has been frank with Oscar Elite though. Oscar Elite just recently came out and landed a very nice race. Won the Reynoldsdown Novices Chase at Ascot. So another horse will have to be very very well considered, and he won it well by 7.5 lengths. So, and the reason he got his 10 to 1 in this race is it's probably bigger than it should be. Um, if we go on to his last run at Newbury, when attempting the Coral Gold Cup handicap chase at Newbury, um, I wasn't taken with the way he has entered the fast ground. So obviously with the ground coming up soft, it's going to be better, much better for him. Um, but he won't want it too soft. I think. I mean, he's running good to soft, but too soft. I think I see him out. Um, other contenders in this race, Cole Philippe of Fergal O'Brien. Never seen him run a bad race. Good staying chaser. Um, didn't run too badly on trials day here. When finishing seventh in the Cheltenham Countdown Podcast Handicap Chase, 72.5 mile. That was on soft ground, and I can't see a reason why um, he could be in the mix again. But I'm just concerned on the ground they're going for him. I mean, like I said, the ground's changed a hell of a lot here. It's good. Yeah, it's going to serve me. And it's just, whatever runs out well. I mean, you've got the Wolf down there, Ollie Murphy Souls, couldn't fancy it. I think it's this 3 mile 130 is too short for the horse. Wants a good stamina, 3.5, 4 miles. Um, so my fancy, Gary Moore's just come into a bit of form recently. Um, and he's got a horse in it called Nazalem. Now, this horse has run 2 good runs at Cheltenham, I think. I mean, he's run behind GA Law when finishing sixth, which was about 9 lengths off the winner. And consider, he's run a cracking race. He wasn't fancied to win the race. That was over 2.5 mile on good ground. The ground was against him, and I think the trip was just too short. Came out again over 2.5 mile. Finished third to Midnight River, off of mark 142. Obviously, Il Redoto was back in fourth that day. It was obviously Frank the form. So yeah, I think Nazalam here, stepping up in trip, a typical out and out stayer by Gary Moore, mark 144, cracking chance for me. We've got to mention the old boy here, Topville Ben. Just never seems to run a bad race. This horse, it doesn't matter where you put him. I mean, all fair play to Philip Kirby. Um, he's done amazing things with this horse. I mean, his last run over at Epstein, for him to take him to Ireland in a cracking Grade A race, and the way he ran to lose by 3 lengths, and it wasn't a hard 3 lengths either. He ran a really good race. One minute he was down and finished, and he ran on all the way to the line. I think stepping up the back up 3 miles is perfect for this horse. Should not be underrated at all, especially at the price of 28 to 1. Um, so you got at the top here. Another horse, Kim Bailey's horse here. Happy Go Lucky. Another horse I will never put you off. Um, a horse that goes well in the trains, but does have a bit of fine from the last run with the selection Dazalam. He's got about 20 lengths of makeup there, and was seen last year when finishing second this year, in this last year to Vintage Clouds, 5.5 lengths. And I think he would have probably won the race if he didn't make a really bad mistake at the last. So he had every chance that day, and he was even giving weight to the winner. So yeah, another work now. Happy Go Lucky. Great chance. We like the ground. A lot of weight to carry around now. Remastered again. Again, I think it's always carrying too much weight. Last seen winning on it, Chasey at Kempton, um, when winning a Class 2 over 3 miles on soft ground. We love the ground, we'll stay. Typical front runner. So again, that form's been franked with Kitty Light. But yeah, my selection will be here. It's going to be an each way bet here on Netherland. You can get at the market here at the moment 17 to 2. Unibet, whoever they are giving 10 to 1. There's a few firms around nines. Bet Victor at nines. 70 to 2 generally, but 9 to 1 you get round on the board. So each way for me at 9 to 1 in the old Teamer handicap chase. That's the 250. On to the 330. It's a champion hurdle. Can Constitutional Hill come back, do what he did in Supreme, and take the piss? Possible. And he's won the three to do it. Um, we all know this horse has got a serious engine over 2 miles. Um, I mean, ever since he's joined the stable, unbeaten. Um, loves good ground, loves heavy ground, loves soft ground. I mean, he beat Ebertonti at Kempton on Boxing Day in the Christmas hurdle by 17 lengths. I mean, that's a complete annihilation. Um, I mean, you got to stay. I mean, Ebertonti is rated £19 lower than Constitution Hill in that race last year. So you can just see the fact that how good Constitution Hill is. I mean, 173 is on. I mean, I had this horse rated ridiculously 178, 179. You know, there's nothing in this race generally can get to near him apart from State Man or Willie Mullins. Comes in at 167. Good pedigree. Last seen beating Honeysuckle in the Irish Champion Hurdle by 4 3/4 length. Back another half length with Varban or Vorban, whatever you pronounce it. Again, takes Vorban on again. I can't see the form being reversed. The thing about Stateman is he's he's a horse that will progress over further. He's a staying type, a much staying type horse. So basically, Constitution Hill can't be rebeaten, can it? You can never say never. It's the bank of the meeting. Has to be, really, isn't it? If you've got a lot of money to whack on, 300 grand to 100 grand, it's a choice you take. We have to give a shout to obviously Twiston Davis's horse here. I like to move it. Looks quite good price at 22 to 1. Last seen winning off a mark 152 when beating Nappers Hill by 17 lengths. Then again, for me, still 10, £12 even to get close to State Man if this horse is going to have a chance. Yeah, can't complain. Travelled well when win the King Will Hurdle. Um, so yeah, done well. Run here before. Ran here last year. Finished quite a way back behind State Man, so it's got quite a bit to find. Um, but yeah, for me, I've got to take on Constitution Hill, but I'd be mad not to. I mean, I'm not one of those punters who's just going to max smack 300 grand on the fucking horse and expect it to bloody win. So I think State Man's a horse that's potentially again. Um, I think Willie Mullins has got it spot on. I think he's even turned around and said, it's a big ask to beat the likes of Constitutional Hill because he is a beast. Um, However, beast get beaten, and I'm going to go with State Man. I think it's always got a cracking chance. If he's thereabouts, he plugs on, stays well, and stays further. So you never know. Um, I'm going to presume that Constitution Hill we might try and make all maybe to run out everything. So on to the 410, which is the David Nicholson Mares Hurdle, a Grade 1 event. All the rage has been around for Maria's Rock. The horse has been absolutely smashed over the last few days. You can get as much as 9 or 4 now. Um, she's a lovely mare for Nicky Henderson. It could be a quick 1-2 for Nicky Henderson here. Um, Last seen when winning on New Year's Day by 6 lengths, taking the real kill hurdle over the 2.5 miles, and did it really well on soft ground. She's a lovely horse. Napper's Hill was back in fourth there. Obviously, been beaten by a good yardstick recently. And I look like to move it there back in sixth, who obviously has also franked that form. Um, my first addition to this was on the preview. Well, I think Maria's what rock was a good thing, and she probably is. I mean, Love Envoy. I think the ground's gone against her. Sadly, Honeysuckle. You can never write her off, even though she's 9 years old. You can just not write this horse off. But then again, we haven't seen a 9 year old. Well, we haven't seen 9 year old since Quavega. I mean, don't get me wrong. Quavega did it when she was 10. I mean, she was just a complete beast, Quavega. Um, so you know, it'd be amazing, wouldn't it, if she came up that hill in front. Um, I don't think she had it always her own way. People turn around and say she's finished at 9. She's probably come the right route here instead of Champion Hurdle. Very, very smart move by De Bromhead. Yeah, and she holds every chance. But my pick of the race, I mean, I'm going to try and take her on, well, both the top mares with Epatante. I do think she's a bit big at 7-1. Her prep run went well when she won the Yorkshire Rose Mares, a Grade 2 event on good ground over at Doncaster back in the back end of January. Beats Sasalda by 6.5 lengths. She was 2-9 favourite to win the race. It wasn't a great renewal, and she did it in style. We blew the cobwebs away. I mean, she's got a bit of fine from the Chrisman hurdle with a Constitution Hill, 17 lengths to find. That's a hell of a lot to find. Um, I mean, she is pretty rated up there, but not in the same severe as that kind of sort of quality. So the thing is, you don't forget we've got three very good returning champions in this race. This is probably for me the most exciting race of the day. I mean, come on, Maria's Rock, Epatante, and Maria's Rock all taking on Honeysuckle. So I like to be in Epatante's corner here out of three, but it is a tough one to call. I mean, you got Maria's Rock there off 153. If I like doing my own ratings here to get a realistic idea. Now, if we go on back on her last run, in theory, she should be off 156, 158. That would be my theory. She should be on about 158. So she's coming into this off 153. She's only got £3 for a win, for a 6 length win. That's nothing. So she's got to be at the top of the list. That's why she's favourite 9-4. The handicapper has not touched her hardly at all. The £3 increase is nothing. Honeysuckle here, she's coming off here 159. We go back on her last one behind State Man. She should be about 168, 160. Yeah, she's probably 166 now for me. And she's coming off this at 159, so she's still way up there. She's probably got something else more to give. So, and then we got here on Epatante 153. A horse that has been around 154, 153 for most of her career. Again, her Doncaster win. She only beat a 118 rated horse. So even with a penalty, she rated about 161. But she's obviously coming here with no penalty at all. 153, which I do like Epatante, is the question. But when you look at it realistically, 153, is that good enough to win a mare's hurdle? Is one, say we could say with Maria's Rock, is 153 good enough to win a mare's hurdle? She won it. She won this race. I think it's last year. Yeah, I think she's defending champion, is she? So she beat Queensbrook last year, which I think in the preview, Connor was quite sweet on this Queensbrook. Now, considering she beat Queensbrook by a length and 3/4, when I actually thought Queensbrook was going to win the race. However, that was off a mark of 140. She's £13 higher this time around. Um, she's had a benefit. She's had a benefit of. She went to the Punchestown Festival, which I think, for me, a horse that's run at the Punchestown Festival coming in before this, I don't tend to like. Um, Honeysuckle went there as well. This is my real. This is what I'm trying to get out here. Maria's Rock and Honeysuckle are the two best mares in the race by far. The ratings prove that. However, horses that have run at the Punchestown Festival haven't returned to Cheltenham and run that greatly. Does that make sense? Um, and I just have a little doubt, okay, obviously, on what she's shown. She hasn't shown her best form, but like I said, horses for courses. She is one to worry about in this race if she gets her own way. But I'm going to stick with Epatonti. If I change my mind, I will never forget myself. Um, I think 7 to 1's probably a bit too big. The fact that, I mean, well, she did, she bypassed, um, you know, hang on, I might have got this wrong, guys. Hang on. Let me just make sure I'm getting this right. 'Cause I think she bypassed the actual Punch Down Festival, didn't she? I might have got the dates wrong. I might have got the dates wrong. No, she did go to Punch Down Festival. So it's my mistake. I do apologize. Please, I'm waffling on a little bit here. That's my mistake. So all three did go to Punch Down Festival, but it has had in the past a very bad record. Also coming into this race from that festival. But however, I'll stick with Emma Tonti. I think she's a good price at 7 to 1 each way. I'll give it a crack. Um, but I will watch the race with passion because I think it's the best one of the best races in the race of the first day. It was probably the whole calendar. Um, and yeah, if Honeysuckle, Epatanti, and Maria's Rock come over the last altogether, what a finish is going to be. Um, so yeah, it's going to be a classic. So Epatanti for me, I'll stick the same horse each way. We're going to the 450, which is the Boodles Juvenile Handicap Curler, which is obviously known as the French Fred Winter. Not a big fan of the race, not because it's a handicap, I'm just not a big fan of the race. However, I've looked over here, I've gone through a few stats and gone through a few things. I actually fancy a Willie Munnings horse here. I mean, Willie Munnings and Gordon Elliott, I think the guys are watching these races. They do definitely put me. Munnings got the favourite here, Takawa. Gary Moore's got here, Persis Way, who I put up last time. I think it should have won due to making mistakes at the last fence. Um, let's have a look else. So I've got here. So Gordon Elliott's got Jazzy Matty. Um, Jessica Harrison's got the Mighty Mo Missouri. Her stable's been quite out, but quite not far at the moment. Gordon's Aura for Gordon Elliott. Again, he's got Ludus in there. So yeah, there's a few good Irish horses taken on the British here, and I'm going to go for Riskbell. Um, William Mullins, Luke Dempsey comes in for the ride. Um, I thought this horse was travelling quite well at Leopardstown back in February last month. Um, I mean, it says here in the right up here, cracked leaders in touch in fourth when fell with fifth. I mean, he was going well enough. He was in midweek, 5 to 2 favourite for the race. Um, Mark Wolf was riding it that day. Um, he just he just got. I think he got clipped coming over the offence and just obviously lost. Got rid of Mark Walsh. It was 5 to 2 favourite that race. That was on good ground. I think the horse on softish ground. The horse back on Boxing Day got fourth to Lossiemouth in the Frank Juvenile Hurdle, Grade 2. And that form's really strong for me. Well, as you know, Lossiemouth and Gala McKay are actually fancied on this card this week. And back in third was Nutheret. Now Nutheret has come out already and won at Kempton and when beaten to Perseus Way in the Adonis. So I actually think that's a good strong form for Rispel and a very, very good mark of possibly one. I mean, it says 127 here. Due to go down £4. He's only a 4-year-old. They're all 4-year-olds, but I mean, this is that he's gone down, dropping £4. He's rated at 126. If we go back on his run, on her run, sorry, if we go back on her run, when finishing behind Lossiemouth on soft ground, where she was carrying 10 stone 6, she had every chance. I like the fact she's French bred, um, and I think she's got a cracking chance. I really, really do. I'm just hoping she's come on since then. And that would be my each way bet in this race. Risk Bell. I mean, she's trading around about 14 to 1, 12 to 1 in spots. You can get 14 to 1 William Hill. We've pushed it out. Um, yes, generally, you get 16 to 1 with some firm I've never heard of. So there you go. But yeah, each way for me, a 14 to 1. And that's going to be Risk Bell. So yeah. And the final race on the first day is the 5:30, which is a Grade 2 event, which is the World Child National Hunt Challenge Cup for amateurs for novices chase. Strong favourite in this race. Again, for Willie Mullins. Patrick Mullins takes the ride on Gerard du Mesnil. 10 to 11, even money in places. But I'm going to take her on, as we should do. And I'm going to take her on with Golden Edits horse here in Manila Krula. So she's had some good runs. Um, Disappointed on her first run at Punchestown. Came out at Ferryhouse and won, beat a horse called Iron Maximus. And came out and beat a horse I really fancied this week. And got beaten by a horse called Impervious of Cole Murphy's, who I really fancy on this week's card. Got absolutely thrashed, over 22 lengths. So, and that was in a Grade 3 event. And came out last month and was beaten 3.5 lengths to a horse called Velvet Elvis, a 140 rated chaser. So yeah, considering this off 146, it's probably about right. But again, I do think he's a good staying type. I think you get the 3.5 miles or 3+ half miles. And you get what price is about 7 to 1, guys. So that would be my each way bet in the final race. So I'm going to go back over them after me waffling on a few bad things and getting a few things wrong. I do apologise. We're only human. So in the Sky Bet Supreme Novices Hurdle, the first race on the card, 130. It will be for me Eel at Top Temps. Sadly, the price has gone. I took it bigger. It's now 9 to 2. And I have in the pocket each way. Also, I think I've got a bigger price on that. Also, and that's now been backed actually, lads. It's now you can actually get a 17 to 2 with William Hill now. 10, 8 to 1 in place. So it's just come in. But I do feel, like I said, if Faisal Vega is there on the bend, cruising, be hard to beat. 210, Yarkle. Again, I think it's a 2 horse race. El Fabilo versus John Bond. I think John Bond will come out on top. That's my nap. I think Henderson's got it spot on. The 250, the old teamer. Few bits of money around, but I like to stick what I like to stick. And my bet is each way here on Nazalam. Like I said, that'll probably be a point each way on Nazalam. In the 330, it's all about Constitutional Hill, obviously, but I'm going to go for a 1 point win, 130 on State Man. And I'll see if we can lower the colours of this big favourite. In the 410, obviously, top two in the market there. Murray, Sucker and Honeysuckle. Epatante has been drifted out to 8 to 1. A lot of money come from Brandy Love, guys. That's Willie Mullins, Paul Tannant. As I said, a very unexposed horse, this horse. Last seen finishing behind Queensbrook in the Quavega Mares, Grade 3 event. That was over 2.5 miles. It's drops back a furlong today. Every chance. The money has come for the money's horse there. The 450, again, I'm going to go each way here. Half a point each way. 12 to 1. You can get 14 to 1 in some places. And that's on Risk Bell. And the 530, last race, we're going to take on the big hot pot here. And we're going to have a half a point each way on Manila Cruna at 7s. So that's the first day. I will be doing this podcast every day up to obviously the last day. And then, like I say, guys, have a great first day. Don't get stung on the first day, because then you start chasing. As we all know, try and keep it cool. Stick to your stats. Stick to your point system, and hopefully you get lucky and win some money. All the best, guys. This is on the Level Racing channel. Signing out.